The Torah portion for this Shabbat is called Bo, and it comes from the book of Exodus. It continues the story of the 10 plagues. It's actually the last 3 of the 10 plagues are found in this portion, and culminates with the instructions on what we are to remember every year at our Passover Seder. So, 10 plagues. Well, over the centuries, so much has been written about the role of the 10 plagues in the Exodus story, the role of God, the role of Pharaoh, questions of responsibility, accusations and denials of who's at fault and who was really responsible, God or Pharaoh. But I'd like to look at the 10 plagues from a more modern perspective. Now, this is not a novel approach. We are instructed to retell our Exodus from Egypt, to instruct our children in every generation of our journey from slavery to freedom. But when we look at the world around us, when we really take notice, we see vast areas of our country where land and waterways have become so polluted with pesticides and toxic waste from industrial complexes that many residences are told not to drink the water or eat the fish or the vegetation. Our world is being plagued with the devastating actions of countries who contribute on a daily basis to global warming and an insidious dependence, I think, upon fossil fuels. Our communities are plagued with more than just violent crime and drug addiction. We are plagued with issues of violence against women. We are plagued against issues of violence against children. We are plagued with poverty and homelessness. We are plagued with issues of environmental justice in Memphis even, where responsible leaders such as Rita Harris from the Sierra Club have been leading the wake-up call to address issues of toxic waste in the economically depressed areas of Shelby County. Efforts to protect their land, air, water, and health by working with the community to campaign against major polluters, or as they write on their website, to improve environmental quality and justice for the community. But when we stop to really look around the world, you can see a picture of such hopelessness. You can become so completely overwhelmed that you find yourself perhaps paralyzed. You say, it's hopeless. There is little or nothing that I can do to make a difference. It's just the way things are. But Jewish tradition stresses hope. It is not by accident that the national anthem of the Jewish people is not only called, but it is all about tikva, hope. So what do? Will we see the results of our efforts in our lifetime? Well, more than just a probably not, the answer is almost certainly no. Can our individual efforts make significant changes in our local community, in the world? The answer is no, not immediately. Remember, the damage to our environment has been generations in the making. I doubt any substantial change will occur in the near future. So why make the effort? Well, according to Jewish tradition, the answer comes from God at the time of creation. The early rabbis tell us, quote, when God created Adam, God led him all around the trees in the Garden of Eden. God said to him, see how beautiful and praiseworthy all of my works are. Everything I have created has been created for your sake. Think of this and do not corrupt or destroy my world. For if you corrupt it, there will be no one to set it right after you. Well, Jewish tradition continues by relating the story of an elderly man found digging vigorously, working hard at planting a tree. A stranger passes by, observing the old man, points out to him that his efforts are in vain. You foolish old man, says the stranger. Don't you realize you're elderly? You'll never live to see the fruits of your labor. I know. Sort of think of Tevye there. I know. Responds the older gentleman with a twinkle in his eyes. I have no pretensions of living forever. This tree, however, is not for me. I'm planting it for my grandchildren. And that is why I haven't a moment to waste. And there is the story of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was an important rabbinical sage in the following days of the Second Temple during the Roman occupation of Jerusalem. The following has been attributed to him. If while holding a sapling in your hand you are told that the Messiah is about to arrive, first plant the sapling and then go out and greet the Messiah. Well, imagine, this story occurred during the tumultuous time of our people's history, during the devastating and tragic occupation of Israel by the Romans, Everyone, including the early rabbis, were praying fervently for the coming of Mashiach ben David, for the Messiah. His arrival would herald in a time of peace and justice for everyone. And yet, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says, first, remain grounded in what is needed at this moment. Then go and greet the future. So what can we do? Well, many of you have already found answers to that question. You place your recycle bin at the street every week for the city to pick up and recycle. So many of today's cars are designed to improve gas mileage and reduce the quality of engine exhaust. Many are even choosing to drive hybrid or totally electric vehicles. But one of the plagues for today is the simple fact that the issue of environmental responsibility is in itself not simple. There are a few simple answers to the questions at hand. So what can we do? Well, one thing is to become better informed. When looking to build or remodel your house, what are the more environmentally responsible choices available to you? Go on the internet and ask questions. Ask the businesses you have contacted how responsible are their goods and services to the environment. Another way to become better informed is to attend Temple Israel's Eco Expo. My wife knew this was coming. On Sunday, January 27th. Just one more week from now, starting at 11 a.m., going until 3 p.m. in our Edelson Wax Hall, businesses and individuals from throughout the community, actually throughout the state, will be exhibiting and demonstrating how their goods and services tackle this difficult issue of environmental responsibility with straightforward answers. Besides the obvious businesses who provide responsible products and services for the home or office, there will be, for example, representatives from Memphis Light, Gas and Water, Shelby Farms Park Conservancy, and Wolf River Conservancy, just to name a few. In addition to such corporate sponsors as Natural Awakenings and the Peddler Bike Shop, several area communities of faith have joined us as well as sponsors. Anshe Sfard Beth El Emet Congregation, Congregation Beth Shalom, Cumberland Presbyterian Church of Germantown, First Congregational Church, First Presbyterian Church PCUSA, and the Memphis Islamic Center. Even the Memphis Botanic Gardens will be there with arts and craft activities for children making fun stuff by reusing all kinds of stuff. Our religious school children will also be participating in a gently used toy drive to benefit the Memphis Family Shelter and the Exchange Club of Memphis. So, some would sound the alarm of an environmental disaster. For them, it is all doom and gloom. They preach a sense of despair in inevitable tragedy. For them, the future has been cut short by the greed and indifference of humanity. For me, I take pride in the changes we as a society are making. I see the efforts of people like me whose message to the auto manufacturing industry for cleaner burning cars and trucks, for vehicles that help reduce pollution and our dependence on fossil fuel, and our demands are being answered. I look around and see the plagues of today, but I also see the steps we are taking as a society to find cures for these plagues. Have we found the cure? No. Are we managing the disease? Well, in some instances, yes. But we still have a long journey ahead of us. This is a journey that we are all on together. I am reminded once again of the famous words of Rabbi Hillel, Im einani li mili, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? Ani la'ami ma ani. But if I am only for myself, who am I? Ematai. If not now, when? Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos.